Our little boat, as we originally bought it, was a nice little boat. It's a little 12-foot aluminum boat. Worked fine. We put some seats in it, so it was reasonably comfortable, but it is hard to move around in, and it's not very comfortable sitting on those seats, even though we had the seat backs. So one of the things I thought I might try to do was cut those bench seats out, add a floor to it, and make it a little more efficient. Okay, I've got the seats cut out a little. As you can see, I've just piled the old foam in the boat for now. I doubt that I'll reuse any of that, although I may use some bits and pieces of it in places. Otherwise, I'll just get rid of it. I have new foam for the bottom of the boat. Okay, as you can see, I have the seats cut out, and I had the framework built in to put the floor. I still have to decide exactly what I'm going to do up front here. I'm going to move the battery and the gas tank up to the front. You can see what I did on the framing here. I've got plywood cut out. The floor will sit right on top of this, cover pretty much the whole floor. I've got this plywood sandwiched in to strengthen the frame from where I cut out the seats, and I've got it bolted in a number of places to what's left of the seats. I also put a couple of 1 by 1 by 8 inch aluminum angle irons for support in there. Don't really think I needed that, but I decided to do that just to make sure. So, and then this will be covered up, and I'll have rod storage on the top of it. That side will be covered up as well, and I'll have my cooler built in between those two seats there. Okay, so I've got the framing in, and I have the foam flotation in. These pieces of wood are reinforcements to put the to mount our seats on there. The seat pedestals will go there, and I've got room to adjust those fore and aft when I figure out exactly where I want them. There's enough foam in here, should keep it afloat if it goes under. There's more foam in here right now than what it originally came with. I will put a little bit under those other spots just to kind of fill it full once I get ready to do that. I've got the carpet on the floor, and it fit without the carpet. Hopefully it'll still fit with the carpet. So I'm going to now throw the carpet in, and we'll see if it fits. Okay, I have the floor in. It's not tightened down or anything, but it's in. Fits pretty good. Looks good all the way around. Nice tight fit. Fits it like a glove. Now I have the benches cut. They're just sitting in there. I'm going to carpet them next, and then I'll fill in the pieces underneath where the seat cutouts are there to fill that in. Those won't be carpeted, that'll be painted, but the benches on top will be carpeted up here. And then over on this side I'll have a cutout for the cooler to sit there. Okay, time for a status update here on the little boat. As you can see, I got the benches carpeted and mounted in there. So they're in there good and solid. I also got the floor screwed down. I'll do a little more to hold the floor in place, but it's pretty solid now. It's in there. There's no bounce on it when you walk around. It's good and solid. Everything fits okay. As you can see, I've got this cooler built in here. It's just sitting there. It actually can be pulled out. We use that as a live well. At some point I'll probably put an aerator in it to help keep it out, but as you can see, it'll just pull right out. But I've got it fitting really snug in there so that it's not going to go anywhere. I don't really need to tie it down any more than that when we get that in there. I've got to fill in under where the seats were. I'm going to put some more foam under there, and then cover that up with plywood so that's got a more finished look. That won't be carpeted, it'll be painted. Along this rail, I'm going to mount the rod storage. I've got a little rack that'll hold 4
fishing rods down there, and that's all we ever take. 4 rods out on a boat with us. On this other side, I'll mount my GPS down in this corner here, and may even get crazy and put a drink holder or something there. I'll get those other rod holders, that black thing over there, mounted good, so it's convenient for us to use if we want to use those. Up here, I'm going to put the, I'm going to cut a hole here in this and mount the battery in there, and the gas tank will sit just in front of that seat. Okay, the carpet and decking is all done on the boat. As you can see, I've got these top bunks carpeted. This one over on this side will have the rod holders on it. I've also got to put my yardstick to measure fish probably over there, or else I may put it over there behind the cooler. The cooler sits in that little spot that's notched out there on that side. I do have flotation underneath where I cut out the seats, and underneath the whole floor I have at least 50% more flotation foam than what it came with originally, so we should be in good shape there. Up here I've got my spot for the battery and the fuel tank. The battery will sit in here. It sits down in, so it sits barely up above the seat, and the fuel tank sits right there. Neither one of them should go anywhere. That's all wet now, so I'll mount those in there and take a video with them in there after that dries. Next, I've got to get the seats mounted. I have 2 of these pedestals. As you can see, they're very light. They're made out of aluminum. One will go approximately there, and the other one will go approximately there. And I'm gonna go ahead and go get the seats, put seats on it, get up in there and sit, and decide exactly the point that they're gonna have to sit. So, well, the little boat is pretty much done. So here's a quick overview of it, and I'll point out what I did with it. As you can see, I got the floor in, the benches on. You saw those in the previous videos. I do have the seats mounted there. I do have some flexibility. I could move either of those seats up or back a foot or so if I decide I want to, but I think we got them in the right spot right now. Of course, the seats will pull right off of there for transportation. I've got the cooler in there. It does take up a fair amount of room, but it works good as a live well. As you notice, it can pull right out of there. If we ever decide we don't want it, we can just easily not have that in there. But it fits in nice and snug, so it's not going anywhere. I mounted some rod racks on this side. You can see enough for 4 rods. That's about all we ever take with us. Got that. I've got some drink holders coming, but they haven't shown up yet, so I'll get those mounted when they come in. As you can see, I've got the battery and the gas line, or gas tank, mounted up front. I did make an extended gas line. It runs all the way back along this side. Now that's not built in there because I don't want to leave that gas line in there when I'm parked, because it'd be full of gas. I don't want to do that, so I'll just pull the gas line out of there. It's just laying in there. I ran the power from the battery back from here. As you can see, it's there. It's fastened to that bench. It runs alongside, and you can see it go under that bench, and it runs through the bench into the back, and I've got a bus bar set up, both positive and negative there. So my trolling motor will hook up there. I already have the depth finder hooked up there. Here's the transducer for the depth finder. I can adjust that up or down. I think I've got it in the right spot. I'll be able to adjust it up or down. I'll just have a single bolt going through right here to hold it in place. And so if I want to adjust it up or down, it's a simple matter of just moving it a little bit and drilling a new hole. This is where my trolling motor mounts right here. I braced that up a little bit to be better. Of course, obviously the outboard goes there. I've got the there's my gas line coming in on that side, and you can see I've got the transducer wire coming across here, and I've got that captured in there because I'll have to remove that each time, but I can just wind it around there so it'll be held out of the way. I do have the depth finder already wired up in there. As you can see, it's on a little Garmin Striker 4. Obviously, it's not in the water, so the numbers it's given me aren't too valuable, but hopefully that'll work good once we get out there. I have our little yardstick here so we can measure the fish, make sure that they're of legal size. That's important, especially in Minnesota, but other places too have that rule. The other thing I did, I painted a little racing stripe on the boat on both sides. So that matches the truck, matches the trailer, matches the cooler, I guess. Somebody told me I need to repaint the gas tank, but I don't think I'm going to do that right now. So you can see I got this painted on this side too. Just add a little touch of color to it, looks a little sharper. And it's all about ready to go. I'm going to add a tongue jack to the front. The tongue is a little heavy now to lift up and down, so I'm going to pick up a tongue jack and try to put that on the next day or so. I'm going to put some leftover carpet I got on the bunks just to kind of cushion the hull a little bit and make it slide a little easier. I got the drink holders put in. Other than that, I'm ready to go. So in the next couple days, I'll be getting this loaded back on the truck. I do have to make some minor modifications to my winch system to put it up there, but those are very slight and no big deal. I will do that. I won't even bother to record that because it's just basically just some adjustments, and then we'll get ready to go and hit the road early next week to go out and try the boat out.
So there you have the abbreviated version of the boat conversion. I think it's going to work pretty good. We'll try it out this coming week. If I get a chance, I'll try to post something on that. But I think it'll work okay. Tried to keep the center of gravity as low as possible, so I didn't raise that floor all the way up. I've seen online some people putting the floor or putting a casting platform up at the level of the top of the bench seats. And I think that would make it tippy on this boat. It's not that big. It is fairly wide for its length, and it's relatively stable, so I think we'll be fine here. We added a little bit of weight to the boat, but not an excessive amount. So I think it will be just fine. And the weight is distributed nicely. It's spread out all over the boat, so I think that'll help to make it stable, and it should perform okay. But we will see this week. One thing to keep in mind if you do something like this, I now have a trailer, a boat, an outboard, a trolling motor, batteries, a bunch of stuff, the roof rack, the winch, and all of that stuff. So I probably have added a good 800 pounds into the back end of my truck. I've got payload capacity to do that. It's no problem at all. But if you plan on doing something like that, keep in mind your truck has to be able to handle not only what you put in the back of it, but also the tongue weight of your trailer and everything else you're hauling. So do some homework on that and check on that. Make sure you're okay if you plan on doing something like that. But the advantage of this system is now I can get to the campsite. I can unload the boat off of the truck, put it on the trailer, get all the fishing gear on there, the motor, everything on there. And then when we go fishing, it's a simple matter just backing the thing into the water, launching the boat, and away we go. I hope you've enjoyed that. Comment if you have any questions. Thanks.